Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of SYD Life. This is Charlotte here, just on audio because the end of year brain fog has really caught up to me and we filmed a really great intro and then I deleted it all. So here we are. Today I would love to welcome you to our last episode of 2024. We are joined with Mitch Hammond for this final episode, which is an absolute gift, and just talking about being anxious about the festive season and like family dynamics that come with kind of a heightened special time of the year where we're with family a lot more than we normally are. And Mitch is incredible, has so much insight and wisdom and advice in that time. So I really hope you guys enjoy, and thank you for coming along for the ride this year. Really excited for everything that next year is going to hold for SYD Life, and I will pass on to Mitch and myself, and apologies that it's quite a blunt intro because again, I deleted everything. Anyway, enjoy. Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm now here with Mitch.
Yay.
Got a Christmas jumper on.
Oh, you had another option?
I had a different option. The other one was a bit less obnoxious.
Was it red?
No, it was it was a more this shade of green, the chair.
Oh wow, this one is good.
I love this one. I got this one today actually.
Deer.
Yeah.
It looks like that Deer Hunter game in the arcades.
I don't know what that is.
Don't worry.
I don't know what an arcade is.
Yeah, the games, time zone.
I don't think I've ever stepped foot in an arcade in my entire life.
Okay.
I don't think they exist anymore.
They definitely do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like Pac-Man and like the...
No, like, basketball, Time Crisis.
Those ones.
It's
just not really for me.
No, that's fair enough.
I'd rather I'd rather do nothing than do that.
Wow, that's a big call. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. We were just talking about our Hallmark movies, and I wanted, because you're like a movie buff.
Yeah, I love movies.
What is your opinion on the Hallmark Christmas movies?
Can you like in general, like the theme of Hallmark?
Just like the whole vibe, because they're coming out. I can't remember, but with like 70 just this Christmas season. 70 new Christmas movies, and a reality show called Finding Mr. Christmas, and the guy, it's like the guy who wins gets to be the lead in one next year.
Oh gosh, wow. Okay. Look, I actually love Christmas themed movies.
Beautiful. That was the correct answer.
Yeah, I'm definitely not anti it.
Yeah.
There are some absolute shocking movies, but all in all,
they're good.
I'm down with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
We were joking that like they just change the pronoun, and then that there's like there's another 10 movies.
It's true.
His Christmas, her Christmas.
Yeah. Our Christmas. White Christmas.
Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's such a smart business model.
Wow.
Isn't it?
It really is.
It's insane.
How much? Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No doubt. But yeah, there's a good one on Netflix at the moment with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh yeah.
It's she's always in them also.
Well,
Side note.
It says a lot.
Yeah, it's true. I miss the Parent Trap days. It's called like My Perfect Christmas or something.
Okay.
And it's actually gotten like
like
people aren't off it yet.
Wow. Okay.
What's your number one?
I don't know if you'd count as a Hallmark Christmas movie, but I mean, Love Actually.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I know that there's a lot of flags in that movie, but all in all, it's a classic.
Yeah.
I grew up watching The Santa Claus.
Yes.
With Tim Allen.
They are such
the
good
original
movies.
One. I think that's a classic.
Yeah.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
I still remember the head elf in that.
Yes.
If you remember. Bernard. Oh my gosh.
I watched it on Saturday.
So when I first watched Lord of the Rings, I thought it was the same person. I thought Frodo and Bernard.
I haven't seen.
Okay, this is
another conversation.
Yeah, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. Yeah. I'm getting you a
I have a DVD player.
Lord of the Rings DVD set. There's probably a $2 bin at Big W.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know what my favorite Christmas movie would be. Hey, I think it's probably like Home Alone.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm a big Home Alone girl.
Yeah.
Like I love the like chaos Christmas films.
Yeah.
Like National Lampoon's Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. What about Die Hard? Christmas movie?
I watched I think it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I watched Die Hard for the first time maybe like 2 years ago with my dad.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll just leave this one for like the men.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
No, I know.
It's not
Oh, look, I'm not a massive Die Hard fan, but
you're not Die Hard for Die Hard.
Not Die Hard for Die Hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah.
Great.
Enjoy the Christmas movies this year, everyone.
Totally. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas, actually.
Yes.
How do you feel being the final guest on the podcast?
Well, I think the fact that I wasn't going to be the final guest, and then last minute call up, Mitch, can you
please
bring a Christmas miracle? So I feel good about it.
There is a compliment in it because you were the second choice.
I came first at second.
Yes.
Which is really a good goal in life.
It is.
So
it is a good place to be.
Yeah.
Speaking of Christmas, do you have any like Christmas traditions?
Okay, I was thinking about this. So obviously two sides of the coin. Like my family now, like so my wife and kids, we have, a few little Christmas traditions we like to do. Like every year we go to the Christmas lights together.
Totally.
Things that we're sort of starting to do as a family, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking through my childhood, and probably the one that comes to mind is my mum used to throw an annual, absolutely amazing Christmas Eve party.
Oh, iconic.
For all their friends and their kids, and it was just an absolute riot. So that's probably my most memorable childhood Christmas tradition was my mum's Christmas Eve party.
That's so fun.
Which is cool. Even they rewrote the songs, cause some of the carols with all the kids' names and it was pretty cool.
We used to have every year with our family friend group. We haven't done it for years now, but we would have a Christmas talent show every year.
I love that.
And my parents being the entertainers that they are, it would be we start practicing in September.
It's rehearsals.
Yeah, we have full such intense costumes. We would steal them from the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, your family's different to my family. Definitely not the creative family. We're more the sporty family.
Yeah, we were not the sporty family.
It was the cricket, the water skiing.
Oh, the cricket, the Boxing Day test match.
Boxing Day, Sydney to Hobart.
So important.
I think for me, actually, Boxing Day is my favourite day of the
year. I think Christmas Eve is my favourite because you still have the excitement. Yes. As a child, you're oh my gosh.
Yeah. Actually, that's the other thing. So this was the deal, right? So Christmas Eve party.
Yeah.
And then end of the night, Mum would, we would all clean up.
Yeah.
And then we'd sit down and watch the last few songs of the Melbourne we Christmas
always
carols,
have the Melbourne one.
Because they're on Christmas Eve and they're way better.
They're so much better.
So anyway,
Sydney could never.
Unfortunately, it's the one thing Melbourne has on Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it is true.
That's some Christmas traditions.
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
When this comes out, Christmas will be in... I can't do maths. Whatever 25 minus 13 is.
Wow, it's 12.
12.
Yes. Quick math. How
good.
Job. 12 days. Happy 12 days of Christmas, everybody.
12 days of Christmas.
That's like the song.
There's a hilarious video of me as a child trying to sing that song, but I only know the 5 golden rings lyric.
That's the only one you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
It's so funny.
Love that.
Because I'm just no, 5 golden rings.
Why did you remember that one?
I don't know. I was 4.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But we're talking about kind of the anxiety, the stress of family dynamics in the festive season.
Yes.
And so just wanted to chat about what we think some of the kind of common sources of anxiety people can feel in the lead up.
Yeah, it is tricky,
Christmas.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It can bring on all sorts of family dynamics.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's so case by case because every family's different.
For sure.
And every family situation is different. So I think the source can be all sorts of different places. But, I think family is a very unique relationship in our world. It's the relationship you have since birth and you can't really choose. And so I think as well, depending on whether your age and stage of life changes, think if you're a teenager, the dynamic is different to when you're a young adult. And then when you become kind of fully fledged adult in your own right, you have kids, there's a different dynamic there. And in-law, you've got 2 families competing for time. So I think there's so many different sources of stress that can come. I think sometimes one of the issues is that Christmas, particularly as you get older, can become such a one of the only key moments as a family you really spend extensive time together throughout the year.
Totally.
So I think there's a lot of pressure on it, and we and
Yes.
all parties for different reasons put pressure on it to be something
Yeah.
like this perfect moment for family, and obviously that's a beautiful ideal,
Yes.
but I think it adds unnecessary expectations
Yeah.
to family gatherings, to kind of maybe recreate childhood moments
Totally.
or, you know, tick all these boxes of the perfect
Yeah.
Christmas story, but you know,
Yeah.
and I think that pressure just never equates or never works well to actually creating a nice time together.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like I have family that I see only
Yeah.
on Boxing Day.
Right.
And if I don't go to the Boxing Day thing, I won't see them for another year.
It's funny,
and
isn't
so
it?
it's just, that's so true.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the point of like almost trying to recreate the childhood.
Yeah.
It's like nostalgia is nostalgia. It's not
Yeah.
the present.
Yeah,
and
and so it is being adaptable and going, okay, well, Christmas was Christmas 20 years ago, and that was beautiful, and we have that memory. But what is it today? What's the season we're in today? What's our family situation today? And how do we set ourselves up for a win and not create these false expectations around what it should be?
Yeah.
But hey, what should it be today? What should it be in this year, this season, with our current stage of life?
Yeah.
And just maybe lowering some of those expectations.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was thinking something that has been providing me stress this year, which is so hilarious and a great insight into my personality.
Yeah.
Is okay. My family, we go and like cut down a real tree.
Oh yeah.
And I have the vision. Like I'm the Christmas tree visionary.
You're the director of this
But
story.
then everyone else is also the visionary and director of the Christmas tree.
Okay, there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
It's too many chefs.
Yes.
Like we got our
issue.
tree on Saturday. We almost all moved out.
Wow.
It was hilarious.
Got heated, did it?
Oh my gosh. It was like, because it was wonky and then it was like wonky the other way. And Dad's like on his knees, like under it, trying to shove things in. And I was like, it's hilarious. And then the Christmas light colors have changed.
In your household?
Well, just like throughout time, because now they're like warm colored Christmas lights that don't make these days.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, well, it's going to look bad because I don't like the lights that we have on it. So just
have you looked on Temu?
I haven't looked on Temu.
I reckon you should give Temu a shot.
I should probably
They
give
probably
Temu
come
a shot,
tomorrow
maybe.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Although I've heard that Temu has really long delivery times. It's like
Look, I ordered something for the first time last week on Temu.
Did it come
It's a
immediately?
bit of a roll of the dice. That hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
They gave me said it could come in 5 days. It could come in 12 days. Anywhere in that window. So it's a pretty big window.
It's a big window.
So we'll see.
But they do have everything.
Literally.
They do have everything. Crazy. I love to go back to the Christmas traditions. One of my Christmas traditions is to like leave a few presents to buy, like go to the mall on Christmas Eve in the chaos.
Yes.
Like I love
the Christmas Eve shop.
the chaos.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm down with
Because
that.
it's just like everyone's so excited. It's usually just like the dads
100%.
going around getting the
Yeah.
It's
Last
so
last
funny.
minute gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, why do we think, I feel like we've maybe kind of touched on it, that it's like the family gathering specifically during Christmas that they just feel tense and stressful. Like why do we think that is a thing?
Is a thing?
Yeah.
I think again it comes back to expectations.
Yeah.
I think like obviously we want Christmas. We have such in society this narrative of Christmas being this beautiful family time, and all the ads and everything is telling us that Christmas is the most wonderful time of year.
Yeah.
And of course it can be, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think that pressure it just does cause us it sets us up for a bit of a fall.
Yeah.
Because there's such a big gap sometimes in our mind of what it should be and what it can be, what it could be, what we want it to be ideally. To compared to what it is. And so I think, look, honestly, one of the best sort of ways to prevent that is, yes, obviously lowering our expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
And sort of maybe coming in with a little more open-handed about how it unfolds.
Yeah.
But actually, I think we need to maybe work harder for the remaining 364 days of the year of building those family relationships and those so that when it gets to Christmas, it's just like this overflow of beautiful family, celebration, and there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be dynamics. Family, are unique relationships. They're very tricky. You're very familiar with each other, so there's a lot more honesty and candidness sometimes. And so things can get heated maybe a bit quicker than they normally would in other situations. And I think as well, sometimes when we get into family environments, we let our guard down pretty quickly because it's meant to be a safe environment, right? And so like, if you go to a friend's house, like you're putting your best foot forward, or you're going to someone's house for dinner or whatever, you're like you're being courteous and respectful of someone's. And you get to a family environment, and suddenly it's like, oh, I'm home, and there's that sense of I let all my guard down, and because of that, everyone's a little more vulnerable, and like. I think things can flare up maybe quicker than they would in other relationships.
Yeah. And then I guess what's like a good way, I mean, this is a massive question to ask in the time we have, but just like a good way even like to set those boundaries, if it's like in just yourself of like, this is a time of celebration, but even just like within family members so that we can have Christmas as.
Yeah. I think the boundaries, look, obviously boundaries are two ways. So you can set boundaries around your world that kind of protect yourself from things externally, other people or situations from affecting you. And they're good boundaries. It could be time boundaries, could be moral boundaries, whatever the boundary is. But I think for particularly for Christmas, the biggest boundaries, and you just alluded to, is the boundaries you set within yourself. Of, hey, I'm not gonna, if this gets triggered in me, or someone says something that kind of it triggers me in some way, I'm not gonna react. And so I think setting some internal boundaries of how I'm not gonna let that affect me.
Totally.
Sometimes it's the same old story, or we know Uncle Jimmy's gonna always bring up, this or whatever. And you just, rather than reacting and causing more fuel to go onto the fire, having a predetermined decision to say, I'm going to diffuse situations. I'm going to redirect. And it's not about ignoring or denying sweeping things under the rug, or, as a good friend of mine likes to say, sweeping things under the bus.
Nice. Yeah.
But, it's not about that. It's about just, redirecting and diffusing and being someone who's advocating for peace in that environment.
Totally.
It's not, like I said, it's not ignoring or trying to like keep the peace and being, being a people pleaser. It's not about that. It's like some things just don't need reacting to. And so I think just making some of those decisions of I'm not gonna bite.
That's good. I always need that reminder.
Me too.
It's good.
I love
biting.
Yes.
At it.
See, my wife hates debating. Hates debates. Right. For me, I like. I'm quite like. I love a good.
Absolutely.
I love a good debate, and so I've got to be. I've just got to.
Gotta bite the tongue.
Bite the tongue. Yeah. Set that boundary.
Yes. Absolutely. Someone told me yesterday, we had our handball tournament at work, and someone told me, I think it's time. You're standing up for yourself too much right now.
Wow.
And I was like, look, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem. It's better than the opposite, I think.
Yeah. So. It was so funny. I was like, wow, we've made it. And we've talked a lot about like setting up expectations. Yeah. But what are some like practical tips on how to kind of manage that, do you think?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
Look, I think, like I said, doing the pre-work so that when you come into a Christmas gathering or a extended family season, that there's all the pressure isn't and the building up towards this one moment. So I think if you can just disperse the pressure across a year of family things and doing that work early on, I think that's always really good. Look, I think high communication is really important. I know for my family, like if I compare when Beck and I, my wife, when we got married, we've been married 10 years now. And one of the big differences we noticed in our two families were the different styles of communication. And so, for example, my family, a high quantity of communication, but fairly shallow in terms of like
Sure.
love to banter and chat about, you know, day-to-day stuff, and that, nothing wrong or right with that. That's how it's been.
Yeah.
Where Beck's family probably a lot lower quantity in terms of like might not call each other for 2 weeks,
Right.
but when they chat, it's always very like deep and like
yeah.
big discussions, you know, and so
Yeah.
it's a real interesting dynamic of and so I think when you come into Christmas, just getting the communication
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
just being on the front foot, making sure you're in the loop with people, that there's no blanks, no question marks around
Totally, yeah.
how the day is going to go
Yeah.
practically, what time you're going to be there, like all
Yeah,
this,
just get all
like,
that stuff
things that
out.
seem so normal and so trivial.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the little things are often the
Yeah.
catalyst for the big things.
Totally,
So-
especially on Christmas.
On Christmas.
It's like, you guys were supposed to be here at 10.
Exactly.
And now my day's over. Like,
Yeah. So I think just if we can just deal with the little things really conscientiously and
Yeah.
communicate well and
Totally.
you know, calmly and proactively and lovingly,
Yeah.
that's gonna diffuse early on a lot of the things that might, you know, could compound later.
Yeah. And then, I think we've spoken about this as well, but just like when, like, obviously we kind of know with Christmas that, I mean, I don't wish it upon anyone, but conflicts usually arise.
Yes.
There might be like that one family member that you just butt heads with a bit.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best thing to do when you're at like a family gathering
Yeah.
to kind of, like we were saying, kind of diffuse that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think again, it's a internal shift you've got to make.
Yeah.
Where this is not about me. You've got to almost die to yourself a little bit and go, hey, I'm not like, it's not about being right. And I think, I mean, this is Christmas. Obviously, Christmas, it comes up sometimes, or holiday seasons, it comes up. But really, this is just a general good rule for life is that we don't need to be right in every situation.
Totally,
I think there's this thing in us. We want to be right. We want to, we want to outdo or share our opinion. I think if we just like let a lot of that go and realize that stuff is so meaningless.
Yeah.
Being seen as right or winning an argument, that's nothing. Like, in scripture, there's a great scripture I love. It says that he who wins souls is wise. You know, and I think the context of that is actually winning people over.
Yeah.
That's the context, is actually someone who has the ability to not win an argument but win a person.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that should be our goal.
Love that.
And often how to win a person is actually to lose an argument.
Totally.
Actually, you know what? My opinion is actually less important than you as a person.
Totally.
So I think if we can have that mentality, honestly, we're
winning.
We're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great segue into want to talk about now, kind of like in this like busy season, how we can kind of just find those moments of like peace and rest.
Yeah.
And just like, that kind of.
This is a really interesting question. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a fight for rest, and like in corporate world, in all different industries and spaces at the moment, the conversation around burnout, about rest, around finding margin and peace, this is a huge conversation. And there's a reason for it. Obviously, there are a lot of people who are overworked, overwhelmed, all this kind of stuff. And obviously we come into a holiday season where it's meant to be relaxing and peaceful, but it can get just as busy with different gatherings and stuff. Look, I'm still testing this theory. But this is my shoot from the hip thought. I think sometimes imagine like a piece of rope and it's pulling on us and it's creating a tension, right? And so it's dragging us into something. If we try and pull back on it and resist the pull to different things, it creates more tension.
Yeah, right.
And so sometimes I think a lot of the felt tiredness or the felt feeling of pressure is because we're trying to react to the circumstances around us and push away, and that can be a human reaction of survival, of wanting to, like, if someone's getting too close for comfort, we push away, we shut off, and it creates tension. But if there are seasons where unavoidably it's going to get busier, I actually think that there's greater peace in leaning into it.
Yeah, right.
And not trying to resist some of these seasons of busyness.
Yeah.
Look, there are of course always things we can do to
Yeah.
practically manage our time better
Yeah.
and say no to, get better at saying no.
Totally.
But there are some
Yeah.
things we just can't say
Yeah.
no to, maybe if it's work or family, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I actually think instead of just being unwilling and pushing back, I think that actually births a greater sense of
it just stresses you out more even.
restlessness.
Yeah.
So if we can lean in
Yeah.
and almost flow with the season,
Yeah.
almost flow with the tide and the waves of the season,
Yeah.
actually there's less pressure. Like that rope, the tension, if the other side of the rope goes with it, all the pressure goes out of all the tension goes out of the rope.
Yeah.
And so lean into it. It's going to be a busy season.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
wise still, but
Yeah.
lean into it. Jump in.
I love that.
And I actually find that internally you're going to find greater peace in that.
Yeah.
That's my theory. So
I love it.
love to hear.
Test it out this
2025,
Yeah.
how it goes for people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it's just like that almost same conversation of just like just like self-awareness and just like taking ownership of what
Yes.
is going on in your life.
Yeah.
And it's like when you've like said yes to all these things and then you're like annoyed.
Yeah.
But it's like you said yes to that.
Yeah, but do you know there's this great principle that that I've discovered is that one of the great sustainers in terms of our personal energy is willingness.
Wow.
So
yeah, right.
unwillingness. So if we do something unwilling, we're starting on the wrong foot.
Yeah, wow.
And we're going to start tired.
That's
because
so
mentally
true.
we're tired by the thought
already.
of it. But if we can shift gears into I'm willing, and willingness is not something that happens to us.
Yeah.
The concept of willingness comes from your will.
Yeah.
So
right.
a will is a decision. So I will.
Yeah.
This is my will.
Yes.
I will to do this. I've decided to do this. I'm choosing to opt in. And when you will to do something, suddenly it actually unlocks this whole sustenance and energy that sustains us in whatever we're committing ourselves to.
Wow, that's so true. It's like you can always tell if you're like working on something.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, if it's like a family gathering and someone like really doesn't want to go.
Right.
It's just like the momentum just like stops.
100%.
And it's like, I remember this one time I was on my L's and I was driving on Boxing Day to our family thing.
Yeah.
And it was like the family was like, it's going to be so much faster if Dad just drives.
Right.
But I was like, I want these hours. And so then like it was already a mess.
Yes.
And so then we got there and everyone was like,
yeah,
we want to go back home. And just like immediately.
100%.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
There's this, I don't know where the quote is from, but Timothy Chalamet always says it. I think it is a poet or something, but he always says like that like life is coming from us and not at us.
Sure.
It's just like, it's similar to what you're saying of like, when you're unwilling, I love that.
So I think release the tension out of the rope.
Yeah.
Flow
such
with
a good picture.
Lean into the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. And then kind of one of the last questions is, just do you have like any advice, maybe if you've experienced something of just like that feeling of just being overwhelmed.
Sure.
This Christmas season, like even if it's just like I have so many presents to buy, don't know where that money is going to come from for that, just like just any nuggets.
Look, I can't say I've had like great experience of feeling like majorly overwhelmed in this season, to be honest. Like I'm totally transparent about it. But look, I think like I said, I think be gracious to yourself. Go easy on yourself. A lot of the pressure we have around this season is internal. Is from our own narratives around what Christmas should be. Yeah. And so I think it'd be worth taking the time if you are feeling overwhelmed or if you are feeling stressed by different parts of the holiday season, by Christmas and family events, taking a moment just to kind of do a self-check of going, where's that coming from? Is that being put on me by someone else? Yeah. Is that a circumstantial thing, maybe financial, or is that internal, just some kind of thing on the inside that because I think actually labeling it and recognizing it is half the battle. Yes. Sometimes with pressure, it feels so overwhelming because we don't know what it is. It's like the wind.
Yes.
You know, I'm a sailor.
Are you?
Fun fact for
Oh,
anyone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I grew up in a family of sailors. Love the sailing, but wind is a funny thing, right? Because it creates pressure. Literally, that's a term you use in sailing. Is there's pressure coming, and it's the wind putting pressure on the boat, on the sails.
Right.
And so pressure it swells. It comes, and sometimes the overwhelmingness of it is we don't know where it's coming from, and we don't know how to react to it.
Yeah.
But if we can go, actually, hey, the pressure or the wind in our world is coming from this direction, and it's coming at this rate of knots, and we recognize what it is, we can actually set our sails a lot better to actually harness it.
Wow.
And so I think recognizing what is it? Is it external? Is it internal? Is it circumstantial? And just, labeling it. Yeah. And then we can actually make the better decisions. Then you can do something about it.
Yeah. I love that. And then the final thing that I'll ask you, maybe, see if I have any other questions I want to ask. But it's just like, if there's one thing that you want people to like. Yeah. If no one's been listening this whole time, like, now's the time to listen. This
is the moment.
Yeah.
Lean in.
What do you want to say?
Honestly, I just would love to reiterate the fact that I think we as a society, and I put my hand up in this, I know and many people are in the same boat here, we can all do better at working more consistently on the relationships we have. Totally. And so I just encourage people, like, if this Christmas you're already feeling it, then make a resolution for the new year. Yeah. That over the course of 2025, I'm going to invest more intentionally and kindly into the relationships I have in my world, because they are ultimately the most important thing. Yeah. And you'll be surprised when you get to the end of 2025, maybe what the difference that's made as you come into that time of year. I love that. Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Shah. How fun. This is so fun. I'm glad we finally got you on. Merry Christmas. Last episode of the year. Merry Christmas. Yeah, so exciting. Happy Boxing Day. Yes. I love Boxing Day. Yeah. That makes sense that you're a sailor. No, you've connect the dots. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Guys, have a great new year. We'll be back in January, SYD Life. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. Great. See you soon. See you soon. SYD Life is produced by C3 SYD Church. We exist to know Jesus, find community, and discover purpose. For more information, head to c3syd.church, and for more content, go to sydlife.podcast. Help us reach more people in Sydney by sharing this episode with a friend. See you next time.